In today's videos, I'm going to talk about the difference between Asian and Western style of parenting. I know there's plenty of videos, memes, articles that discuss this very topic. So what's the value of adding another one? Well, most of the contents are from Asian kids growing up in Western countries. Here, I'm bringing you my three perspectives as a first generation's Asian parent raising kids in Australia, and how I go about navigating two different cultures for my kids. This is just my personal observations, so please take it with a massive grain of salt. But before we dive in, let me give you a quick overview of Confucianism because it casts great influence on East Asian culture. It origins in China, then spreads to Japan, Korea, and people with Chinese roots like myself. It believed that everyone has a place in society and needs to conduct themselves according to their place to maintain harmony. On the other hand, Western cultures tend to prioritize individualism with mantras like be yourself, you do you, and respect is earned, not given. Keeping that in mind, let's dive in. The first perspective, kids' position in the family. In Asian culture, the elders are automatically given respect just by the virtue of being old, not necessarily because they are wise or have a valuable experience to share. The elders hold the highest position in extended Asian family hierarchy, while the younger ones, like myself, often find ourselves at the bottom. It's like, even though I'm a grown man, my older relatives, like my aunties or my older cousins, still treat me like a kid, which can be pretty frustrating. And let me tell you, some of these folks even love to stick their nose into our family business. It's like they feel entitled to meddle in the name of all looking out for our best interests. But the great thing about Asian culture is that I feel like I have a sense of belonging. Yeah, just like any family, we have our own drama, but our extended family always have our back. Like my mom live alone in Jakarta. I'll be forever grateful to my aunties and my cousins because they always help her out whenever she needs help. And the youngest member in the family, in the extended family, often get plenty of legs up. Now, let's switch to the Western concept of family, which typically revolve around the nuclear family unit. When my Australian colleagues say they will see their family over Christmas, that means their parents, maybe siblings, and their partner, not necessarily the extended family clan. So it's no wonder folks like Obama and Brad Pitt didn't even realize they are related. In the West, parents treat their 18 years old kid as an independent individual. I even heard dad calls his son mate. Australian government even had something called youth allowance to support young adults. I get it. They want to lessen the parents' burden and set up the kids being independent as soon as possible. But the Asian in me can't help thinking like, isn't it a parent's job to take care of the kids? And the second thing, parents' influence on career aspirations. Asian parents often project their own aspirations onto their children with high expectation for them to achieve wealth or high status career. This stems partly from a culture focused on face saving and maintaining a good family image. Additionally, Asian parents tend to sacrifice a lot for their kids. They stay in a well-paying job they hate, work long hours, move to a new country so that the kids will have a better future. Knowing this, you probably sympathize why Asian parents push their kids so hard. They have sacrificed so much. So in their mind, it's only fair for the kids to do their part, even if it means that sacrificing their personal patience. Let me give you an example. Teacher is a highly respected profession in Asian culture. In my home country, Indonesia, we call them pahlawan tanpa tanda jasa, a hero without medals. But telling your Asian parents that you want to be a teacher is like asking for that wish. Just look at Eddie Wu, the Australian math teacher rock star, and his parents' initial reaction to his career choice.
I want to be a teacher. And the air was heavy then. You really could cut the air with a knife. You really could hear a pin drop.
We sort of said, we really look at each other and say, what? What is it doing? What is it?
They said, why do you think we've come to this country for? What do you think was the purpose of us leaving behind all our families and our pre-established life? Did you think we came here for the weather or for the politics or for what was it?
Even though I could not understand that was so important to him, I just let it be, let him do what he wants.
My mum was a little different. She said, Eddie, over my dead body.
Even a good-looking Simu Liu had a hard time convincing his parents to pursue high-risk, high-reward in acting career. Although I have people saying I look like him, I doubt I could ever convince my parents to support my Hollywood dream. But it's not too late to support my YouTube dream, so please give it a like and subscribe to support. On the flip side, Western parents tend to take a more laid-back approach to their kids' career paths. It doesn't have to be success in traditional sense like being rich or working in prestigious professions like medicine or law. They are all supporting their kids' aspirations and interests. Their kids could be a starving artist or musicians. Yet, Western parents might say something like, "Oh, he's successful in his own way." It's their individual sense of fulfillment that matters. Attitude toward education. We all know that Asians value education highly. When we spell DNA, A is for A plus. But why? Let's be real here. We all know that someone who is flunking at school yet still make it a big time in life and vice versa. And let's not kid ourselves. Good grades is not necessarily a sign of intelligence. It just means that you have done really well in the test. You must agree with me also. Most of what we have crammed in our head during the school time have no practical values in the real life. My Asian friend even openly admits that the reason he demands good grades, send the kids to tutoring classes is to structure the kids' life so that they won't have time to spend time on mindless social media scrolling, sexting, cyberbullying, and avoid teen pregnancy. So why the obsession with the grades? For starters, apart from securing bragging rights in the family gathering, it makes us feel like we have done something right by our kids. And second thing, being a migrant with no social connections, we need all the leverage and opportunity to set up our kids the best chance to succeed. Third, Asian countries are extremely competitive, probably because of the size of our populations. And while Westerners might talk about keeping up with the Jones or FOMO, fear of missing out, it's peanut. Trust me, it's peanut compared to kiasu, fear of losing. I heard this term for the first time from my Singaporean friends, but I believe that applies to most Asian countries to some degree. While FOMO is mainly a fear of not knowing the latest trend, that viral video, what your friends are doing, or the next get rich scheme, kiasu is competitive in nature. Not only you need to keep up with the people around you, you also need to get ahead of them. In contrast, Western education system doesn't seem to really care about the getting score, getting good grade. It's still important, but tend to be more like focus on the more holistic approach that emphasize on creativity, critical thinking, and individual expressions. Teachers at my kids' school in Australia do their best to make learning fun and engaging. They will say things like, "Almost right, try again. I will give you a clue if you still can't work it out." They also go extra miles to avoid emotional damage. While when I was a kid back home, when I went to school, I felt like I'm going to the boot camp. Western parents are also more willing to let the kids lead their own educations and just being there to support them. That's the positive part of the Australian parenting style. But, and it's a big but, when it comes to discipline, Australian school system is truly shocking. It's actually ranked among the worst in the world. No wonder teachers are leaving in droves. Just look at the news headline. Teachers made to apologize for giving child improvement strategies. Teachers are struggling because your children are awful. And judging by the comment sections, a lot of people agree we need to do something about it. There are several reasons that I think why it's happening. First, here in Australia, children are taught of their rights. Now, don't get me wrong. Knowing your right is really important. But sometimes I can't help thinking whether that sort of brings a sense of entitlement to the kids in some ways. I mean, I even heard a kid call police on their parents just because they asked him to do the homework. Second, teachers, especially in public school system, don't have the leverage to deal with disruptive behavior in the class. All they do is just work and work with the kids. It's nothing. Third, some parents treat school as a glorified daycare, outsourcing their parental duties to the education system. I'm happy to be corrected. If you're an Australian kids parents, or caregivers? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Lastly, my approach in raising Australian-born kids. Let me start by sharing my parents' background story. My parents grew up in Chinese-speaking school and surrounded by Chinese-speaking friends before Suharto government shut it down. There's no surprise they feel more Chinese than Indonesian, even though both of them were born in Indonesia. I remember my mom's disappointment and frustration every time she tried to speak Mandarin to me. All she got is Bahasa Indonesia in response. Because I'm a good kid, I taught her that it's not my fault. I was born in Indonesia and going to Indonesian speaking school. If you want a Mandarin speaking kids, then just go back to China. The reason I'm sharing this story is because that experience taught me how not to raise kids in different culture of my own. They mean well. They want to pass their cultural heritage and identity to their kids. It's their approach that put me off. I felt like they were asking me to toss aside the culture I grew up in and adopt a culture I find foreign. As a parent of Aussie-born kids, I'm trying to blend the best of both worlds. I speak Bahasa Indonesia to them, and they often respond back in mix of English and Indonesian, and that's okay. Some of their friends at school speak Italian, Arabic, Hindi, Mandarin, but guess what? None of them speak Bahasa Indonesia. So I told them, isn't it cool being able to speak a secret language that no one understands? Hopefully, their Bahasa Indonesia is good enough to keep in touch with our extended family in Indonesia after we are long gone. I want my kids to embrace their Chinese-Indonesian root to complement their Aussie upbringing. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's all about being comfortable in their own skin. Bruce Lee said it best when asked if he saw himself as Chinese or American. He said, "Neither. I think of myself as a human being." When it comes to education and forging their own path, I lean on the Western style of parenting by just being there to support them and ask questions instead of micromanaging their life directions. Yes, I still send them to the math and English tutoring class because doing well academically still opens up opportunity and more choice in life. They don't always like it, to be honest, but thankfully, they trust us enough that we do this for their own good. My hope is when they are old enough, they will understand that while we are free to make our own choice, we are not free from the consequence of our choice. That's it from me, guys. Please give it a like and subscribe if you learned something new. I'll see you next time. Bye.